kind of a lag behind. So let's try it one more again. Hold on, guys. We'll be back.
So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.
Oh, what are you waiting for? Oh, oh, what's happening? What's happening, good people? How are you guys doing out there? Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha, right? AKA Key Lolo. That's right. And then right over here, oh, I get my finger right. That's who it is. It's the one and only. Hey, boo, how you doing? Cheryl Morrow, aka the Hair Oracle. We are 19. That's right. 19 episodes in on America's favorite podcast about Afro hair. And this is our barber and beauty professional student edition podcast. So if you are in school, maybe you're an instructor, maybe you own a school, maybe you're even thinking about going to barber or beauty or nails or aesthetic school, then this is the podcast for you. And on this 19th episode, it is all about the top 10 ways that we salon owners and barbershop owners, what are the top 10 ways that we can best help you guys become successful in your line of work? And so I'm going to pick Cheryl's brain for the top 10. Now, Cheryl, I did, right? I got up to 9. I didn't get 10.
Wow.
So I got 9 ways that.
Okay, so we're going to tag team.
Okay, we're going to tag team. All right, y'all like that. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, boom, shaka, laka, laka, whoop, there it is. Boom, shaka, laka, laka. I guess that's not how that song goes. But anywho, y'all know that used to be the jam, though. Everybody's a tag team back again. Whoop, there it is. Yeah, so we're going to tag team. But before we do the tag team, before we get into the top 10 ways that we can really be better, because that's a complaint that a lot of newer professionals have, is that, we're not helping as much as we could, or we could do things differently. So I hear you guys talking. I remember a couple of years ago, Ebony Naylor, she is the owner of Excellence Essentials here in Cleveland, Ohio. And she came to the salon and was like, I need some help. And nobody's helping me. And I said, well, what can I do to help? And so it's just that simple, So sometimes we get caught on the carpet. And so we're going to talk about that today. But before we talk about it, don't forget, guys, if you're just kind of scrolling on through, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. We are about 50 people away from our goal of 2,500. So come on and help us reach the goal, because we're not just here, complaining. So, Mr. President Joe Biden said, you know what? I'm a bow on out. Since y'all say I'm old, and maybe I am a little too old. Sure, you taught me that word, gerontocracy. Talk about that gerontocracy and him saying, you know what? Go ahead on and take a bow. And what are your thoughts about that? And then I'll come back. I commend him for it.
Well, I will say this. If anyone has ever had to retire your predecessor, it is something that should happen for the health of either it's be a country or it be a company, right? But I will say that it is very hard because you don't ever want to be replaced, because being replaced means the end of somebody you admire. And you don't get to relax in being number 2 in watching your great leader have fun. And when Father Time kind of takes his faculties. It's not fun. And the once spry and strong person you've known, you have to have that conversation because there's no fun way to talk about aging, especially in a country that does not embrace their elders. The West just does not very hard on their elders. The East is different. There's a lot more reverence to growing old. And so, believe me, it's the hardest conversation because it's not personal, and I'm sorry, you guys, it's taxing, I'm sure, for Kamala to go up and down stairs and have to travel like you're a middle-aged young man. And that's not even fun for an average middle-aged person.
Yeah, like me.
To have to go in time zones, have jet lag, to meet with people. You have to be here. You've got to be there. You've got to do this. You've got to. It's not even like being in Congress. I mean, you can just walk in and sit at your desk. I mean, it's totally different when you're the president. And I think that was more of my concern, not the fact that he was 80. I mean, because old Joe is, I'm sure, resilient, but it's the physicality of it that is extremely taxing on a 80-year-old body. And so, it's just not a fun conversation, but I do appreciate you know the old grandpa Joe getting it. And no, do we feel comfortable with him at the helm? Because he loves his kids, he loves his grandkids, and he loves his family. He lets everyone know, and Jill will go down the middle of the road. And I think we all felt comfortable going to sleep with old Joe, knowing that he would probably do the half right thing when he couldn't do the whole right thing. I just don't know about that with the other guy.
Right. Yeah. Everything you said, I would definitely say ditto. And for people who have a lot to say about, getting old, I'm just going to tell you what my mama used to tell me: keep living. Okay. And I'm 56. I'm coming on up into to 57, moving on up. And you're right. A lot. What I find just bigger than anything is that my dad would always tell me, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. And for all the people who have so much to say about what a person, especially in politics, or any line of work, there's a complaint about, being a salon owner, what more you could do, being the president, what more you could do, whatever, supervisor, a mom, a parent, what you're not doing. And I would just invite everybody, to do your part. Everybody has something to bring to the table in their own unique, special way. So let's take you and I, right? We're cosmetologists, we're professionals, and I'm sure like there's bigger issues to talk about than Afro hair science. But you know what? Somebody's got to care.
Yeah.
And this is our lane. We are here. We are doing our part in all the capacities that we can do it. We're not complaining. So for everybody who's saying, well, she's not for ADOS. She's not black. She's when she was what was she? Whatever her position was in California, she sent people to jail. It's just always something.
Oh, it's untrue.
Yeah.
It is untrue.
Yeah. All these things that they're saying, but let's just say all of it is true. Maybe she is all those things, and maybe I am too. All the things that you guys say about me, and maybe you too, Cheryl. Maybe you are all those things that people say you are. You know what I'm saying? But you can do something, because I think the worst thing that we could do is to complain. I remember this one guy, we used to work together, and he hated President Obama. That's all, former President Obama. He just hated President Obama. And I listened to him, and when he got finished, I told him, do you know that you could run for office? And he just kind of looked at me. I think anytime you see anything in any situation that you don't like, you need to get involved and you need to fix it. And you'd be surprised what a difference you make. And that's what I learned from former Senator Shirley Smith right here in Ohio. She would come to the hair salon and get her hair styled. And I was going to take it upon myself as a constituent. I'm sorry. Let me get it right. Hold on. As a tax paying constituent, that I'm going to check her about what I don't like about what I'm seeing that's taking place in the beauty industry. And she listened. And then she told me what my responsibility is as a constituent to my civic duty. Now that's so large that we could not go over that, but and I think it's a very befitting segue into the topic of what more we could do, because what I'm hoping is that to all the barber and beauty students, and of course school owners and instructors who are working in those spaces, that we are doing all of our parts, to be a part of the solution, because every little bit helps. That ripple effect. Don't you think that means a lot? In the work that we're doing, we're not, we ain't everything, but we are making some international, some local, some nationwide. We're having an impact on Afro hair science. With just we're not doing everything we could. So take that away as we get into the topic of top 10 ways that we can help barber and beauty professionals out who are entering the barber and beauty industry.
The most important thing to focus on is be the thing that you want to change. So you can have the momentum and the spiritual energy around you, that you're embodying, not just talking, not just your mouth moving, but become that so much that when people are in your presence, that they know that this person is settled in on a conviction, a virtue, or some kind of principle, and that somebody gets the opportunity to say, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and not just lip service.
Yeah, I mean, too much lip service. So welcome everybody on Instagram. We got our sister Samantha Dixon Slaughter from Nova Scotia is in the chat. She reached out to me and she said, I want to buy some books. So I was like, okay, how many? She says, oh, I want to buy 8. I'm going to buy 8 books. And so she says, yes, she's going to buy the books. She's going to sell them in Nova Scotia. And this is just see what I'm saying? A small, we ain't trying to change the world. We're doing our part, and you can do your part. And we hope that by the end of this podcast, if you serve in these capacities in the beauty industry, that you will take into consideration what you can do, because you can always add what we're saying to your own repertoire, and you can have an impact. So Samantha she's the head. She's founded the beauty culturist of Nova Scotia. You can correct me with the proper term. What's up, Sir Pooh? And I'm going, Sir Pooh, could you please inbox me on any of those platforms, because we are ready for you to come. If we rap another band, I don't forgot what you done taught me. See what I'm saying? We're doing it right here on this platform. And Sir Pooh, when you come in, if you give us permission, I want to go live so you guys can see what we are talking about doing your part. So we're going to get into it. So she is the founder. Here we go, Cheryl. The Black Beauty Culture Association of Nova Scotia. And she's been so kind, and she's going to have my books. She's going to put them in her space. And this is the book that I wrote, and it's called What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. And she's going to add it to her collection of books that she sells. So is it Milady's Book of Cosmetology? No. Is it New York's bestseller? No. But it is a solution. That book is solution oriented for both the professional and the consumer. And so we hope that by the end of this podcast that you are will be inspired to not complain about what you don't like, what you don't see in a person, but that you reach out and do your part. And if you don't know how, you do like I'm going to do. I said, hey, Sir Pooh, I don't have his number. I don't know him all like that, but he knows that I'm a big fan of his, and I work alongside one of his peers in the industry. And he says, yes, he is going to reach out to me, and he has trained us before, but I need him to come back again because we have new people, and that's been a long time. And I just learned that in my coloring class today, last week, that things change. Isn't that right, Cheryl? It
Absolutely.
doesn't stay. It's always changing. So we got to stop complaining about what any person or any old or any young isn't, and just do your part. So whenever I hear somebody say what they don't like, I'm going to always finish, well, what are you doing to help circumvent or navigate or whatever you want to call it? So we're going to get right into it. We're talking about the top 10 ways that we can stop bitching and moaning, right? And help some of these newer people who are entering the industry, because let's just face it, Cheryl, uh, we ain't gonna we gonna beat Joe in a minute. Y'all should see me trying to sit down. I'll be like this. Oh, before I was like, woo, like woo. So let's start off with why we should be helping the younger people out, because that's the newer. I shouldn't say young. When we say new and young, we mean in the industry, the profession, not age. Okay. So why should we be doing more to help the younger people, the newer people who are entering the industry? Why should we be doing it?
Am I going first? So I'm assuming I'm going first. I'm going first. You muted yourself.
Sorry, someone just walked in. I said I'm doing a podcast. I have to tell.
Oh, okay. One of the things that is peculiar, and I think that Kafele says it best, but there's also their word, and when they say beauty culture. Beauty culture is one of those terms that is a group, an enclave, some kind of enclosed way of tried and true kind of status, symbols of behavior, contributions, knowledge, and wisdom, business techniques, um, skills, cutting, styling, all of that comes into what we call a culture, right? And I think that the older ones that have already extracted, hopefully, a lot of wealth from that particular industry, still could be probably in their senior level of practicing inside of their salons or not, or barbershops, whatever the case may be. And you want to do something, and you've generated some wealth in terms of revenue that you would still like to be a part of. But it is an investment in passing on some of the things and things that you needed to unlearn and things that you did learn. And you do realize that your skill sets, though you may be educated within the 70s, 80s, 90s, or early 2000s, and you do realize that this is a different market. And just like you've invested in your own skills in improving yourself, well, you most likely may have to invest in passing on something that you learned many years ago.
But now there's a concern that maybe I'm giving away what I have worked so hard for. Like, they need to do more. This is what I put in. So why should I take all of my traveling and living expenses and hotel fees and class fees and just give it to a key Lolo?
Well, one of the things that is important, you guys have to understand the difference between a heart print and a heart, and passing things forward in terms of philanthropy. You got to know the difference between that and in what we call investing. That is industry. You're investing in your industry. You're investing in the culture. When you're looking at it as an individual, you're looking at it in terms of competition. And that's never a way to give anybody anything. What you're doing is that you're making a community. We have to get into a community mindset. If everybody's got a competition to you, then there's only two ways you can enter into the commerce market. And I want you guys to always remember this. You're either going to compete or dominate.
Mm.
Make the choice.
Compete or dominate. That's
Now,
kind of,
now, and let me explain. Let's say that may have negative connotations to it, but it doesn't. It means when you compete, you're looking at everyone else in the race besides running your race. Win or lose, you're still looking at the side person and here you are getting ready to win, but because you take your eye off and you're worried about it, that's competition. Okay. That means that you are focused not on your business and your goals, and you're not, singularly keeping your focus on what you do best. That's competition. Dominating means that I'm going to own a particular part of my profession, and I'm going to do it so damn well.
mm,
I am going to make sure that I am the best at what I do.
But now
And
is that arrogance? Like, well, who the hell do you think you is? Fill in
it
the
has,
blank.
but it has not. That decision is an inside job.
Oh,
That means that your virtues are attached to you. And here we go again. You must embody the thing that you want to do. And so if I'm going to be, best trash picker I can, everybody in my community already knows Cheryl won't come up and pick that trash up, sleet, rain, sleet, or snow. And I'm not gonna have no trash on the ground because she coming around. I'm so good at it. Everybody else has now moved around me being good at it. And that's how you dominate, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of players.
but I don't. I think the newer people, even older people, I don't know that they understand that because domination kind of has a. I got my foot on your neck. It has a very aggressive connotation, but the way that you're describing it
Mhm.
is getting in your space and owning it, and you're being very, very intentional. Now, for people who are just getting into the industry, does that take a certain level of chutzpah or cojones, or is that a talent or do you just profess it? Or where do they begin at moving from competition to domination, or is it a transition from competition to domination?
Well, I think it's more of a gradient, because at the end of the day, no one is good at everything to the point where we all fall short because we either are doing too much.
Until you meet Key Lolo, now hold on. Now,
So, you know, and then then we got to take care of a parent, and then we got to go take care of this sometimes. But I do think one of the things that we can learn to do is to we don't have to do everything. You are a person in terms of wanting to be in a space where your competition one is you. Okay. And you want to do is develop this self mastery to the point where you have settled into dominating all of your flaws, and to make sure that you are performing at the best. You're getting your sleep, you're drinking water, you're making sure that you touch one of your peers and a mentor once a month, and that you're practicing being the best you can be. Now, this is an inside job. When you mention competition and you mention domination, unfortunately, it is always pointed outward, and it's not.
wow. Um, that's very, very interesting. I don't know what to say to that because I'm just used to it. Like I said, I've not heard it quite put like that because domination is kind of used like in corporate world and like in music, where there's massive amounts of people that one person can just kind of, corner. But in cosmetology and barbering, I never thought of that something that we can get our own little piece with the term domination. I mean, we do have our, our celebrity people. We've got some people, but I don't know that, I would have not used that word. I'll put it that way. But I get what you're saying.
Well, we don't use it because we're so busy being in what again? In competition with the outer world instead of being in competition with us. It's not about other people. It's about
Right.
you, then your customers, then your business. That's all it's about. It's building a good, strong business to the point where, because one day we all gonna be Joe.
Right. And so,
If
and
y'all
that's,
put me out, I'm already gonna know what my exit plan is. The point is what I'm just basically trying to say is that self mastery is hard.
yeah. Yeah. Self mastery is hard, but if you need just a little way to get in, we've got a solution for you because, everybody swears, they can do this job. I have my best friend called me up and said, I'm braiding hair now. I said, what? She said, yeah, I'm a braid hair. I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? She says, yeah, I'm gonna break. And I said, that's not something that you can just do. And I'm not knocking her, but that just goes to show you how people approach hair is that, oh, if I braid my hair, I can braid your hair. And so what I have to say to that is this right here. Here we go, Cheryl. Play. Yeah, it won't play. It won't. Come on. Oh, because I'm on the wrong one. No, don't mess with me. I'm sorry. I'm clicking the wrong one. Okay. Here, where is it? Okay, here it is right here. Here's what I have to say, Cheryl, to everybody who says, I could do hair like any old hairstyle. It ain't that hard.
Get your ass on that book.
I'm about to tell your daddy on you.
This is the Hair Oracle. This October in Cleveland, Ohio.
It's dedicated just for you.
The Afro Hair Science Summit 2024.
Either they don't know
Or they don't want to know.
or they just don't care about Afro hair in the barber and beauty industry.
Pack your bags and get ready for the most cutting edge education in the industry.
Everybody swears they are smarter than a cosmetologist and a barber. I don't even know what that's all about.
But don't you be petty about your business.
Ow! Fucking bomb.
All professional barbers, cosmetologists, natural hairstylists, hair enthusiasts coming together in one room.
Damn, that's fire. Don't be petty about your business.
To get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them. And I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Any means necessary, Theo. This
Any
is what
means.
Cheryl and I are saying. By any means necessary, we are vibing with the one and only Theo. He was a part of our brotherhood in the world of Afro hair science. He and Danny, and also our hip hop motivator was a wonderful. We also had Kafele. So he says cosmetology is the scientific study of hair. It's not just about techniques. And this is why we're saying, get into your space and do your thing. Stop complaining, be part of the solution. So let's rock with the top 10 as we're getting into it, ways that we could do more so that you could take Cheryl and our job. We want you guys to take it to the next level because, hey, maybe one day you might have to tell me, like someone had to say to Joe, Dosh, it's time for you to take a bow, okay? And I would do.
I thought we was on number 2. Because you didn't get
Okay.
your-
Okay, yeah, that was number 1. Okay, so here we go. Number 2, she said dominate, get into your space, and you're gonna dominate. Let me make sure I write these down so I don't forget. So you want to get into your space first, and then Cheryl says you're gonna dominate that and stop being in that competitive mode because you got to be self mastery. Okay, all right. Okay, I think the poor righteous teacher used to say that. If so, okay. I was thinking Twitter. I love poor righteous teachers. They used to always talk about being the master of yourself. All right. I would say because I got a nice little list here. I want to go with speaking. Okay. I think if there's one thing that we as, especially if you're really successful now, if you just own the spot and you're collecting rent, that might be a whole nother, I don't know, set of suggestions for people who own the salon and barbershop, but they are not working in the industry per se. So they may need another set of top 10. I don't know. Cheryl's like, hell no. It's, I don't know. Cheryl's done this a little bit longer than I have. So maybe this doesn't apply to you if you don't do the hair or you're not a part, you're no longer, affiliated with the industry. But we need to help, to me, the younger, the newer people with their speaking because that's probably my biggest angst as a salon owner is working with the newer people on how to talk to people, how to speak up for themselves, their diction, their eye contact, their body language, their even like their how they move, how they touch people, how they walk to the back and go pick up stuff, all of that because there's nonverbal communication mixed in with verbal communication. So I feel that, we need to really help them with speaking, projection, and being clear. And one of the best ways we can help them with that, to me, is having them write out, like, why are you showing up? Today, not as a barber, not as a cosmetologist, not as an esthetician, not as a nail technician, but today. Why did you wake up, brush your teeth, take a shower, all that good stuff, put your keys in the car, drive to your place, drive to your school? Why did you show up today? And so I need to hear that come out of your mouth so that I can begin to cultivate you. And because this is intentional, would you not agree that to make it in the beauty industry, you have to be very intentional? And what I find is that people just kind of wake up and they do things by default. Like you drive to work, like, you go up Euclid, cut across, Elamar Street, and then come on over to ABC Main Street, and then you just pull in. And then you just look at your books and you go, okay, what we doing today? I think that's like the worst way because now when it comes to communication, you're out of sorts because you don't have any direction. You haven't spoken it into existence. You're not giving yourself guidance. And when it comes time to talk, you have very little to talk about. And then you just kind of like all over the place talking about everything and you forget about your own goodness and what other skills that you can bring to the table. So I think, helping them with speaking, because that's the biggest challenge that I've had. Every time somebody comes in, I've not met one. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've spent, everybody takes about a good 9 months to get that speaking together.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think that is because two things that I've noticed in there is no customer-oriented courses in beauty school. There's nothing about dressing and professionalism, and I don't think they role play enough. There's not a lot of muscle memory education, which means that they have to physically do it, which means that physically walk up, physically introduce, know what to say, create a script. So they don't even have a script. When they get confident enough to be in the script, then they can ad lib. So it is almost like doing a telemarketing, I believe in doing a telemarketing script behind the chair, because that's how I was taught. Good morning, stand in front of the chair. It's physical kind of role play.
But you know what I think? I think it's implied. I think that a lot of business owners, when they hire people, they figure because you want it, you got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we see it, not just in, hairstyling, but we see it in many, we could walk into, a clothing store, right? Even a gas station, you want to get, like, I walk in and, like, and they looking at you like, what you want? And I'm like, I want a soda. They're assuming you want, they sell all this stuff in these gas stations, and they assume that every time you walk up, like, which number? Like, is that you want 89 or, regular? And I'm like, I don't want any of that. You see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
so I think that the communication is so lost. And when we think about Dr. Leah Love, who talked about, what was her number, what's the number one reason people come to her? And she said customer service. And that really touched my heart, because I am not the best hairstylist, but I know that I dominate in customer service. Like,
There you
nobody. I mean, I've got customer service down to a science. So communicate, I would say speaking.
And then the other one is because we're not taught how to sell. And I think that some of the communication in the speaking fright and the lack of confidence is because we're not told or taught how to sell products, sell your services, sell your personality, sell your skills. We're not taught how to sell. Right?
Yeah.
And let me just say this, and I know we focus on speaking. I know we focus on the talk, right? But it really is body language. We're not really comfortable in the body language.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing sales fixes, right? And that's why, because that is one of the things I think we talked about it a while ago. That's why I think the beauty school, the salon, that's why I think the salon should have an education room, and then we should have a product room. Because if you think about it, at some point, these various things need to be integrated into the same thing, because they're going to do the same thing. It's the same industry. And to have things over there and over here and over here, especially in the education part, they need to be taught and spend some time in the retail section of school, so they can learn the confidence of selling, product knowledge, describing, and suggesting do's and don'ts. They need to learn, because they're going to be the professional who is going to be selling these things and suggesting them. And that's one of the things that the YouTube influencer took away from here.
You went there, and I'm agreeing with you. I did the Toastmasters too. I did the Akron chapter here in Ohio, and that did help. But again, what I find, to your point about retailing and understanding that part, I find that when you guys leave school, or while you're in school, because I've been into so many cosmetology and barbering schools. I mean, I've probably been in just about all of them. I know I have. But what I see two different personalities. And I think that for students, they don't know that you need to bring you at all times. So when it comes time, when you're faced with the reality that you're going to have to sell not only products, but you're going to have to sell yourself, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
Because
Right.
they don't think they have to sell themselves. And then you start to, because then I feel like, like, are we forcing you guys to do this? Like, you voluntarily came in and made application. You voluntarily filled out, the paperwork to attend school. But it's almost like you're pulling. And so is your mama making you do it? Or, the fact that you have children, so you don't get the feel that they're bringing themselves. You see two people entering cosmetology school. I see two people entering the world of the Reverence Design team. So I see that a lot. So when they're faced with the reality that you have to sell, then you see a really big, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, and it's because they have not shifted. Everything in the institution of beauty school, in my opinion, should carry all of the facets of the industry in the education, because they're going to be doing all of that behind their chair. And if they don't have the body that carries all facets of those, then they're not going to be confident. And if you're not going to be confident, you most likely won't have a 360-degree career. You're not. You're just going to leave some of the money off the table, and you're
Right,
just
because you're
things
putting
like
too much emphasis on the hairstyle when that ain't gonna help you take care of those
yeah
children.
that that
It
that
ain't gonna get you that extra roll of toilet paper. I can tell you that much.
and
Okay.
well, and to be honest, that's going to be the first one to go, like Mr. Papa Joe.
Oh
Them
yeah.
physical, them feet, them back, them shoulders, that neck, that all of that, you can't really put your whole stock, and so you need to be able to transfer some of your skill sets into the softer, more profitable brackets and
Right.
sectors of the
Right.
industry.
Right. So a couple of shout outs, okay, because we're going to have you guys. As a matter of fact, before we do some shout outs, Cheryl, how about you show them what they need to do right now to show some support for the Afro Hairstylists YouTube channel? And so you think you can do hair
Come
podcast
on,
show?
y'all.
Here,
Let's
do
get
this
them.
right here.
Come on, let's get
I
them.
got it this time. I got it.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
Okay, all right. So we got some super duper shout outs coming through on the chat. So of course we have the one and only Mr. Theo. We got Samantha Dixon Slaughter from Nova Scotia. We got Sir Pooh rocking on both channels. On Instagram, we got Keratin Experts. Keratin Experts has been rocking with us pretty much on all the podcast platforms. So I don't know who you are personally, but you are the bomb.com. She's super cool. Just joined us. Hair Pro 720. How you doing out here? Miss Lady Z. That's right. It's so wonderful to see you guys in the chat over on Instagram. And Cheryl and I, we appreciate each and every last one of you. So if you're watching this posted live, then again, go ahead and put that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and share the content. If you have a niece, a nephew, maybe you're a new barber, you're a new cosmetologist, it's like, they missing something, then be so kind and say, hey, I got something for you. I think you might like it. So Cheryl came back through with number one, she said dominate. Number two, I said speak. Number three, she says selling. You got to know how to do your retail. And so I'm going to pick, now I got my little list here, okay? So I'm going to go with number four. I'm going to say styling tools, okay, or your tools. This one, it gets real, This one is hard because when you leave school, you have your kit, right? You got your beauty school kit. But that ain't the stuff you need in a professional salon. Now, I know some of you like, well, I go to Paul Mitchell, I got me a Paul Mitchell flat iron. No, that is not I know they say it is, but I'm telling you that is not going to work, okay? And to me, we as salon owners and barbershop owners, whether they're going to rent the chair or rent the loft or you're going to commission or hire, there's so many ways you can do this thing here. I think that we should make the investment to have them have access to the tools. Like even if like you have a thing where you check off like this is how you got the tool, and if you bring it back and it's not in that state, you're going to pay for it. You got to do something or incentivize them that if they keep it up, they could just have the tool because they'll be making money. You know, so I think, and it also ensures that every customer is going to get the same quality, because if they bring in another one of them, you know, them blow dryers, oh my God, stop making this. I know you circle like stop it, but nothing is worse than a bad hair dryer, some cheap shears. I don't mean as in cost, I mean quality. You know, those clippers that are like, no. We have got to help them with those styling tools. Now, I had a proctor when I was becoming a master colorist. Shout out to Keith Michael Davis. You can check him out right here on Facebook. I love him so much. He's also accepted. He needs some help. He's doing a wonderful tennis club for children. So please go over to Keith Michael Davis. He's in Lima, Ohio, and he's the bomb.com. But anywho, and he told me that a stylist is only as good as the tools they use. So I think that we, as school, a salon and barbershop and esthetician, give your people access to the tools, even if you're not going to let them use yours, but let them train them with yours so that they can see the difference between a good quality blow dryer, quality shears, quality flat irons, quality capes, quality neck strips, quality wrap strips. There are cheap things, and then there are, I'm just telling the truth according to proof. So quality foaming, that stuff that lot of body, like shopping out the local neighborhood supply stores, those are nice. And I know there's so many Black people who are like, I own my own beauty supply stores. That is nice for home. But to go up the street to Habib and Ming Lee, I'm sorry, Ming Lu, beauty supply store, and bring that stuff back into the hair salon, I just make it make sense.
Um, this one is maybe this one is basically, I believe, in industry. I do think that they are not going to know this if they have not gotten a professional kit. They got a beauty school kit. And I think that this is where professionals can join their local.
Now, hold on, because you got to say what. It's so cool. Like hell, no, you can't use my tools. So they can use their own ones, but now you got to back it up a little bit when you say professional, because like Paul Mitchell, I'm not knocking Paul Mitchell, so I'm just using them as an example because we get Paul Mitchell. I have had maybe like 3 Paul Mitchell students come in and want to intern and maybe work. They couldn't do the job. They couldn't because I don't know how Paul Mitchell indoctrinates them, not Paul Mitchell the person, but how they indoctrinate, I have no idea. But they're wedded to those products and those tools. And I don't know about the products, but that flat iron and that blow dryer, no ma'am.
Right.
No ma'am.
So yeah, I'm going to finish and just let me just get my thought out here, right? And so this is not a student thing that I think that they can avoid. But what we can do is the professionals in the industry can think of, like you said, your dad, either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And so if we can join our local or statewide association, such as the modern whatever professional association or organization we have, and that we will be able to endorse a set of tools that they can, and we should have a fundraiser. Will their professional package that is already tried and true by a level of their peers, and that this will be something that we could have a fundraising event and a scholarship event, maybe a toolkit scholarship, because it's our problem. We are the professionals. And if we're going to be sitting here and we know the junk, nobody can tell a brand that your shit is junk, then we can. And that you have to come. The fashion don't let you do it. Pharmaceuticals don't let you do it. Our shit stinks. As professionals in our organizations, we have nothing to be able to tell them, okay, we're going to endorse these 4 scissors, shears, and this is what you need. And this is, so we already have 15 things, 15 items that is endorsed by the organization, and then we have a kit, or we can do something like a salon registry, for somebody to sponsor. There's 5 and 10 students coming out, and we want that kit with our organization on it, and that we donated. And this is going to take you to 5 to 10 years, because they're going to last long. But we can't, yeah, and I know it's a problem, but that is something professionals have to solve.
Okay, well, y'all know me. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I'm for at the Afro Hair Science Summit that Lavina, my boss, she still works in social work. And today they are having a resource fair. And so a resource fair is where they just have resources like medical, burial, all types of community resources, food, and you learn about the resources. So I'm gonna say maybe that last day, we'll talk about this show, we can have a resource fair at the Afro Hair Science Summit, since we're not gonna be selling you guys anything. And again, the Afro Hair Science Summit 2024, this particular summit is strictly education. So you're bringing your pencil, your paper. We're not selling you anything, but I think a resource, and maybe we could pass around the paper and have people be on a committee, and we'll just do it ourselves because we need to do that, because I don't think coming out of cosmetology and barbering and a school of aesthetics and nail tech schools, the students really know how to carry and move their purchasing power, their decision making power up on quality tools. And like Sarpoo said, it is an investment, but we could do our part to help you guys out when you leave school, where we can identify what we know are good tools. We can make our own investment to provide the tools, and we can gift them to maybe 2 to 3 students. And then as it grows, we can have more. But I am definitely for doing that. And I'm sure Sir Pooh was like, yeah, y'all can count me in. Like the way I said that in, Sir Pooh. All right, so Cheryl, we are up to a good 4. So we got dominate, speaking, selling tools. So what's your next? I'm sorry, having good tools. So which one do you have up next?
Number 5 is your chair is not a barrier.
So
Your
what's our
chair,
go ahead.
your chair is not a barrier, and be able to allow your chair to be part of your, as they would say, public relations. Make sure that you come behind the chair. Learn how to use your chair. Your chair is not, you stand behind it and it's like customers over there, I'm over here, and you use it kind of as a barrier.
How do
Please.
owners of a barbershop and a hair salon and a nail and an aesthetic, how do they help them not use the chair as a barrier? So
I think that there is a saying, behind the chair. I think that is a saying that we need to get rid of, because it is being in front of the chair that is so much more profitable. It is because we think that we're doing everything behind their head, and we don't make sure that we are what we call chair side manners. So chair side manners, meaning that you are talking to your customer before you even get started about their week, how did their last hair. And it's also a way to gain confidence in speaking to your customers, not through the mirror, not behind their head, in front of them, right? Or on the side of them. Or make sure that you have a chair and you sit eye contact, just like the doctor. In fact, doctors sit underneath. They sit on stools while you're on the table, right? Because it is to give you a sort of communication tool. But the chair, your chair it has a revolving, but you are supposed to turn it around. The chair is not a barrier. It's not just something that you don't, that you service in. And I want to encourage people that it's a skill set. And I know they don't They have their chairs faced. You can have a stool too, to where you're sitting beside your client and making sure that you gain all the information that you possibly could on how they got there, why they're here, how can you service them better, what would you like to see, what are your hair goals, and things of that nature. So your chair actually endears the customer to you and not serve as a barrier to where you're just talking to the back of their head. One, they don't know what you're using. They can't see what you're using. And so you are totally disengaged from the retail process. So the chair is a barrier. And I think most cosmetologists and barbers use their chair as a barrier.
Well, I think as salon owners and barbershop owners, if you own your play, excuse me, your own, your own business, barber beauty business, then what Cheryl is saying is that we will have to lead by example. So you're gonna use this top 10 things that we can do to help them. When it comes to number one, we could change that language as owners, and stop saying behind the chair, and we can start saying in front of the chair. Because behind the chair, well, I like it because it helps me hide my hips. But I'm just saying, yeah, I'm just saying
Right,
a couple shout outs right quick over on Instagram. We got Rashida, stay winning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love you guys. Got the best handles ever. Okay, so welcome. And again, we're almost an hour into our podcast. This one is just for barbering and beauty students, and it's all you think you can do here, and you're right here on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. We're live streaming right now on Facebook Live, and we're also on Instagram Live, and of course YouTube. So sure, you were saying, what about the owners helping them, with behind the
well, I think I think it's the instructors as well. I don't think we even think about the whole 360. Your chair turns around 360. I don't even know that they're not static. And so I think it's a bad habit we learn in school. But to come in front of a client and to make sure that your chair swivels, and it is you don't necessarily have to keep walking around the chair. The chair swivels, and you can direct, influence, authority, listening, asking questions. They're your patient. They're there for you to, for them to relax and to speak through the mirror when you actually have them right there in front of you, and all you have to do is swivel them.
Guilty. But I've stopped. I did. I'm guilty. All right. Who, and you can answer this post the live or during the live, how many licensed professionals talk to their customers through the mirror? I didn't even realize I was doing that until Cheryl said it, later sometime last year. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And here I am. I'm the queen of customer service. And now I don't do that anymore. Still, sometimes I slip up, but I'm guilty. So if you do that, you talk to your customers behind the chair through the mirror, just go ahead and raise your hand. And Cheryl is saying we could do different.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it is so much more. It's almost like eating at the restaurant, and the owner, and the owner comes from the back, and the owner comes out not cooking, and he just knows you're there, and he comes out and says, "Hi, Miss Mark." You're like, you feel so good. He doesn't talk to you from behind, and he's doing
The
the
kids are
pizza.
like, hey, Key Lala, you want some more
What's
chicken?
up? Hey, well, hey. But they come out and they put their hand on your shoulder and they say, "Hey, how's it going? And how's the meal? Good. I'm gonna bring out some ice cream for you guys. Thank you guys for coming." It is so much more of a of an endearing. I also put my hands on their shoulders and just kind of make sure that I touch them, but make sure that they're there to relax. They're not there to just And I would kind of demand you put the phone down unless it rings. But at the end of the day, you're here to relax and I connect with you. The chair is not a barrier.
All
That's
right.
my number
All
five.
right. Okay, so we're going to stop at number 6, and we'll continue with part 2 of this on next Monday. But what I can tell you that I have for number 6, I know for a fact that we as salon owners and barbershops and all these beauty salons and skincare places and nail care places, I think that we could help them more with accountability by way of incentives. I know sometimes owners can be a little punitive because it's always I'm about my money, you know what I'm saying? And then money, you have no money, then you have no business. But I think accountability by way of incentives are really good. You could do gas cars, you can do money, you could do like if you notice they like Starbucks. Some of my like I got some people here that like a little what's that stuff called Patron. If I see them doing something nice, I know it's for the weekend. Put a bottle that get that for them. Also, tools. Hey, I order some brushes, some dimming brushes, and you get a brush, you get a brush, you get a brush. But I'm doing that because I'm holding them accountable to all the things that we're talking about here, like dominating. Number one, dominate your space in the place. So I like to see them actually do that here. It is a process. It doesn't happen in a year or 3 months. Some people it's faster, some people it's others. Okay. Also, speaking, incentivize them. If they're talking good, they're doing good, I'll give them an extra 20 on that cell phone bill. Here you go, it's on me. Selling stuff. If they sell more stuff, they get more. It's a bigger return on what they get for what they're selling. And then, like Cheryl said, the chair is not a barrier. So they see me learning because we all have something to do. So I am working on that. And then last but not least, again, so I incentivize them. You know, uh, by holding them accountable. So once they're accountable and they're doing well, they get an incentive. I'm never a punitive. I don't believe in that. I think that's the worst way to do it because in the beauty and barber industry, they need a safe place to grow. So our concept here is build, grow, and go. Because I know when they come here, ain't nobody trying to work here forever. Don't even lie to yourself. Some want to stay longer than others, but that's not what they want. So if you treat them good, then they'll bring you more people to keep your salon and your barbershop full because you're not holding them back. But incentivize them as best you can. And if they're out of pocket or whatever you want to call it, you could, always take them out to dinner or lunch or, and just have a real nice, because you want them there. You want them to be happy. And if they have to go, you can just, hey, it's been great, and then hopefully you've done that at the beginning when they first come in, so they'll know if they've reached that point where it's not working out, that it's no love lost. So a lot of people have, pat me on the back and say, Ladosha, you my girl, I love you, but I'm outie like 5Gs. And we're the best of friends. It's not personal, you know what I'm saying? So what you think about that as we close? So Sir Pooh said he'd do all that, That's why I want him to come and train us. And he's good at it, you know what I'm saying? He is. He's a pro. So what do you say to that as we wrap this up?
Absolutely. And let me just say this. I know with just expanding on that thought, um, and just in terms of the ones that I remember being in my environment, right? And you are working very close together, and you guys and you Ladosha are very very involved in um, their success, and just to add the extra, you know, whatever happens, to you happens to your life. And I think that, and also in incentivizing them to keep their life in such a way that promotes them, um, shall I say, life does happen in the dramas of life, but a successful life is a life where you can incentivize them, just not on the floor. But the life of a professional is usually not just what you do in the salon. It's what you do out, and
Right.
also into,
Yeah.
and we want to be very good mentors in having what we call a good professional life,
Yeah.
not just when you're in the salon, but you're carrying your business with you, and sometimes to just keep. I know some of the barbers that I recently had a conversation with. You know, we gotta make sure that we represent the good stewardship and professionalism, not just in the salon. And sometimes we can bring what we do outside. It comes inside the salon, and sometimes it's
It's not the best place for it. Yeah,
yeah.
I tell, if you know, if you come in and it's just not happening, whatever it is, I tell them to go back home, and I've done that. Like, you know what, we got you. One time like her dog passed away, and she was really hurt. I mean, people loved it. I'm not a pet parent, so I don't know that life, but it means a lot to her. So you know what we did? We did her customers. We gave her money. Now I know all salons are not going to do that, but whatever your it is, if it's not it, then just go on home and come back, because customers, they don't. Yeah, I'm just saying. Uh,
And your teammates, you can tell when they're struggling, and
yeah,
as a leader, you gotta kind of
yeah.
you're your mother while, while you're there.
I think the Beatles said it best. I get by with a little help from my friends. We all get by. We all need help sometimes, and maybe your salon or your barbershop doesn't have that environment. You can do it on your own. You don't need nobody to tell you to do it. You know to do a good deed on your own. Like I would do her people and give her money, or whatever you want to do. I mean, that's up to you. But the whole point is what
And
Cheryl was saying.
and I think your point is, and that's one of the advantages of being part of a team, and not maybe choosing isolation and the single heavy lift first. Getting in part of a team may be the best option coming out of school,
Right.
because you get under a tutelage of a den mother or a den father, and so you
Mm-hmm.
can learn. And so when you're ready to go, you are ready to go.
Right. And if they're and a true person, that's working in the industry in whatever capacity, as the owner or whatever, authentically, they really shouldn't have any problem with you leaving, because they've done their part. At least I don't. We might be sad, but we want to see you guys excel. We want to see you grow. And I've had not a lot, but I had enough people, grow and leave. And I would say 99% has been all for the good. And so it's just part of the process. But you can come back and join us at 3:30. We're going to come back early this time, because this evening, look, Cheryl, I'm going to be attending the 16th anniversary edition of Who's Who in Black Cleveland. So I've been selected to be featured in that. So I got my little Easter outfit. Woo, woo, y'all see I got my bee face on. Y'all see like her skin all glowing. Y'all like my little glow, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be down there checking it out and hobnobbing and meeting some people. It's Black Excellence. Now is the time to kind of show that up. And everybody's got something to bring to the table. And that's all about work beyond the chair, is what she's saying. Don't just stand back there. I know I didn't get that as a hairstylist. I can tell you that much. I'm sure it contributed, but it's not all. But we're going to be back at 3:30 with none other than, she is so fine. Good Lord, this lady is so beautiful.
My sis.
Yeah, and she is so down to earth. She is getting a lot of views right here on the Afro Hairstylists YouTube channel. People are really impressed with the illustrious, the dynamic Miss Jane Carter. So she's going to be back this afternoon at 3:30, and we're going to be discussing a little bit more about her experience. We're going to go into a little bit about this whole Black denial, spending all this money, you still don't like your hair, and all these things that we're just not, because she was there in the beginning, and we're trying to figure out, like, how did y'all come up with all these steps and putting all this stuff in your hair? Now, she's a cosmetologist, so she's going to help navigate you guys this is both professionals and, consumers. So join us again this afternoon at 3:30. And Cheryl, what time is that? Your time is that 12?
That's 12:30.
12:30. Okay. So West Coast time.
No,
So
1:30. 1:30.
yeah, I'm sorry, 1:30. Sorry, I think I put the wrong time. Okay, anywho, I think I put the wrong time. I'll go back and change that. Anywho, Jane Carter is going to
I
be
think
back with us. I know I keep messing up.
12:30. You're right. It's 12:30.
Okay, all right. Okay, so there you anyway, we'll be back, okay? When y'all see us go live, come on back and we'll see you with Miss Jane
Yes.
Carter. We're in part 3 of our 4-part series. All right, Cheryl. Okay, you know what we say when we're signing out, right? We say good, better, best.
Best.
Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. All right, guys, we'll see you back at 3:30 with Miss Jane Carter. Deuces.
So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.
Tell me what you